We're joined by Behnam Ben Taleblu. He's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies. Welcome, Behnam. Good to see you again. Before I get to those talks, I want to ask you about something that happened this afternoon. This is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and she testified to a Senate intelligence hearing that the global the global intelligence community continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon. What do you make of her assessment?
I think really since the 2007 national intelligence estimates that over-focused the world and in fact the U.S. policymakers' attention on only one of three key and necessary elements that go into a nuclear weapon, fissile material being one, a delivery vehicle being another, and the third and perhaps most critical being that weaponization one, there has been politics both on the left and on the right, inside and outside of the U.S. government, that has, I think, tried to take advantage of this narrower scope with which to view the Iranian nuclear threat. And let me just tell you, the Islamic Republic of Iran did not resurrect the late Shah's nuclear program in the 1980s during a bloody war with neighboring Iraq, where WMD was used by Iraq and much later on by Iran against Iraq, to simply have a science fair project to provide less than 2% of electricity for its national grid and suffer the cost of these sanctions just merely for scientific or research purposes. Everything in the Islamic Republic that has a status dividend has a security dividend, and this is a regime that is pursuing as carefully as possible the world's most dangerous weapons.
So is Tulsi Gabbard wrong?
She's, in my view, narrowly scoping the issue. What the Islamic Republic is not known to have done yet, based on U.S. intelligence reporting, is turn that final screw. But just as we saw for the past 2 decades, the Islamic Republic has been able to basically benefit from the net effect of free nuclear deterrence without a nuclear weapon anyway, which is basically the ability to safeguard your own territory while threatening or coercing the territory and the interests of other countries.
Given what we've just seen in this leaked conversation between the Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth and the Vice President J.D. Vance, there is a strong isolationist streak in this administration, isn't there? With Vance really questioning military action against the Houthis in Yemen, the Iranian-backed proxy. Are you concerned that this strain may win out and that President Trump will negotiate a deal with Iran just to keep the peace, but one that will not stop the Islamic Republic from building a nuclear weapon?
Well, actually, I see President Trump's offers for some kind of a diplomatic off-ramp with the Islamic Republic consistent on how he campaigned even prior to his term 1 presidency. If you remember, when he campaigned against a whole host of Republican contenders, then he said, I buy bad deals, I make them good deals. The president's been remarkably consistent in term 1, prior to the campaign in term 2 and early in term 2, in seeking some kind of a diplomatic outcome. And he actually paid significant political costs to resurrect, enforce, and grow a policy of maximum pressure to that end. So I actually think, regardless of the isolationist or internationalist camps that may be represented in the administration, the president himself, the commander-in-chief, the decider in the room, wants peace through strengths. And I actually believe him when he says that this can be accomplished 2 different ways, with a piece of paper or with military action.
So do you think we will see talks taking place in the UAE soon?
You know, the Islamic Republic, there's a Persian saying about this, which is to push away with the hand, to pull towards you with the foot. And the Islamic Republic has quite literally been tempting the Trump administration, been toying with the Trump administration, all in the express interest of trying to buy time, to fight to live another day, to grow its nuclear program as it continues to do, to try to find cleavages between the U.S. and its regional partners, between the U.S. and its major transatlantic partners, to stall major diplomatic and economic pressure. And ultimately, that's because the Islamic Republic does want to, as safely as possible, pursue the pathway for a nuclear weapon.
Aside of that pressure, perhaps, today Iran's currency, the rial, hit a record low. How will that affect the regime?
Well, also today, coterminous with much of what you've been mentioning, you had the Senate hearing where in the presented written document of the Worldwide Threat Assessment, there was a bit of ink, a significant amount of ink and attention paid to the domestic situation in Iran, be it protests, be it societal, and even indeed economic. And I think the regime's economic woes are set to grow over time. Lest we forget maximum pressure that already took advantages of structural issues, mismanagement, graft, and corruption corruption rampant within the Iranian economy in term one was only in place anywhere from 12 to 14 to 16 months. Now the Trump administration has quite literally 4 years to build on those pressure points. And if the Iranian rial relative to the US dollar on the free market or black market rate is near almost 1 million, then the Trump administration actually has quite a bit of its work already done.
Behnam Ben Taleblu at the FDD, always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.